we can put it out on the. This will go on the website when give us a couple days to do that, but we'll get that up on the website as soon as we can as well. That way you can access it, or teammates that couldn't make it can see the content we cover today. All right, I think we'll get started. So thanks everybody for joining us. This is the first GatherUp monthly webinar of 2022. We have a lot to unpack, so we'll jump right in. First of all, we want to make sure that we do a couple introductions, and then also hit on these updates that we have on the product. We're going to go through a couple betas that we have in the works that we'd love to get some feedback on, as well as hit on a few minor things, but things that might affect some of the things you're doing currently with GatherUp. And I know it's been a long time since we've done a webinar. It only feels like 84 years. It has been less than a year, but I think it's that time warp that we're all in due to the pandemic. So first thing I want to do is introduce a few people. Most of you know us, but just for those that do not, Josh Shoulder is on the call today. He is our product manager for GatherUp. He's been with us since 2014, so way back when, Get 5 Stars days. And he's been in the PM role for nearly a year now. So you're probably familiar with Josh back when he was head of our customer success team as well. Just a plethora of knowledge on the product. Chris Walker is on the call as well. He is our sales team lead. If you are an agency with GatherUp, you have probably know Chris. He was probably the first person you talked with when you were interested in GatherUp. And he's been with us since 2017. He will be actually manning our Q&A and chat today. So if you do have questions throughout the webinar, Chris will be jumping in on those. My name is Steve Hartman. I'm the head of product and content marketing for GatherUp. I've been with the company since 2019. In a sales role initially, so previous life in sales, moved over to marketing last August, and really excited to talk about the product and all the things that we've been doing the last few months to improve it. So let's jump right in. The first thing we're going to hit on today is direct social sharing to Instagram. So we've had this feature for Google, for Facebook, and for Twitter, but we added Instagram. If you're not aware, social sharing is a tool to post your reviews on social media sites of your choice. It's a great way to build social proof with customers on those platforms. And it's also a great way to take these images, put them on your website, and build that social proof on your website or email as well. So previously, we had direct integrations with Google Posts, with Facebook and Twitter, so you could post directly out of GatherUp into those platforms. But Instagram is new. As a lot of you may know, Instagram is a little trickier on the authorization side, being a part of Facebook. So it did take a little bit more time for us to get there, but we're there now. First of all, why add Instagram? I would think most of you have heard of it. It's over 1 billion users, very high engagement rate. In the US, 63% of users visit Instagram daily. But also the emphasis on visuals, and really with social sharing, you're able to customize these backgrounds and have these cool images. So in this case, obviously like a restaurant, you'd want to showcase your menu items because that's what people really get engaged with, right? Like those visuals, and Instagram is the most visual of the 4 big social media platforms. So the Instagram authorization happens via Facebook, of course, since they're owned by Facebook. The other thing to note is you have to have an Instagram business account. It can't be a personal account. So make sure that you have an Instagram business account attached. And this, once you authorize that within the application, like you would any of our other authorizations in your settings, you will be able to share these reviews out of GatherUp that you choose directly to Instagram and post them there. So save you a step. You used to have to download the Instagram images to upload into Instagram and share them that way, but now you can do it right out of GatherUp, similarly to how you would do a Google post or Twitter or a Facebook posting. So more improvements to social sharing that we are in the process of making. This is in a beta right now, but we are looking at an automatic social sharing tool that allows you to automate that process, right? So currently, this is a manual task. It has to be done for each individual review that you want to share out. And this is really, a scalable tool that we're hoping to achieve here. So agencies can take this to the next level where if you have multiple clients with multiple locations specifically, that becomes pretty tedious to go in on each one and add them. And this would allow you to automate some of that process. And then the last part is just creating some consistency around your social media presence and your content. So if you're a small business and you don't have a ton of time to be doing this, this automation will help you create that content, share it out automatically, and save you some time doing that. So within the platform, under social sharing, that would be under your publication settings on the left-hand nav bar, you'll have a social sharing settings. And within that, there's an opportunity to create an automation. So what you'll do is you'll walk through the steps. It's pretty straightforward. Things you'll see there would be, you'll have to name your automation. For instance, here I have 5-star reviews on Facebook. You select your social channel that you want to share that out to, which in this case is Facebook. You customize your theme like you would already with the way social sharing is set up. So background image, font size, things like that, you can customize that. And then you're going to pull in the reviews from the appropriate sources. So in this case, I selected first party and Google reviews as my source. So I'm going to pull in 5-star first party and 5-star Google reviews and share them out on Facebook. That next one, that number 5, is the rating threshold. So again, I'm selecting my 5-star reviews. And then the last one is pretty important. So that's your volume. Think of this as kind of how many you're going to share out per day or per week. In this case, I selected 2 posts per day to share out. So again, creating that automation. So I'm not going to ever send out any more than 2 in a given day. Even if I have 8 reviews that day, I'm only going to share 2 because we don't want to overwhelm that. So. With most of our betas, the best way to get involved is to email support@gatherup.com with a subject line of beta tester for given feature, in this case, automatic social sharing. So if you are interested in participating, we'd love your feedback. Email your support@gatherup.com. All right, so 2 improvements to social sharing, which we're really excited about. Another one we made is to our customer activity screen, and this pertains specifically to hotel and restaurant details, but we can see this starting to expand into other industries as well. So last summer, Google launched some additional details around hotels and restaurants. And if you haven't been on a trip, haven't been to a hotel, maybe even haven't been to a restaurant in a while, totally understand, can't blame you for that. But they did roll this out, and what it does is it gives reviewers additional opportunities to leave feedback around specific elements of the business. So for restaurants right now, what we're seeing is it's only available on maps. If somebody sees that elsewhere, let us know. But as of putting this together, that's where we were seeing it. And then the hotel details were only appearing on desktop, as far as we know. So what we're talking about here are these deeper traits like reviews by traveler type, so family, business, solo, things like that. So just more details, more context. And that's really what we decided when we were looking at this are we going to monitor this and how are we going to monitor it? Really, it's providing you more intel on the guest experience. As with a lot of our monitoring, it's about pinpointing those positive or negative elements that drive that experience so that you can make those business changes that improve your reputation. And then, as a company who prides itself on giving you the tools to make listening a business superpower, you can, we want to make sure that you're continuing to see what Google is doing in their review space. Google changes what they're doing here a lot, and we want to make sure we're on top of it and giving you those tools to expand that review data. See a question here on hotels. Does it include campgrounds? It's going to be based on your category within your Google business profile. So if your category is under hotel, motel, things like that, it could. what I would suggest is probably go into your Google business profile and look at that and see if those options are available. So here are some elements on the hotel side that we're seeing. Initially, when you go to write a review, you're asked to leave a star rating and some feedback, some content there. But then the next screen are some optional choices, right? Where rate your room, rate the service, rate the location. I kind of think of this a little bit in terms of our tagging system. So tagging some of that feedback. So if they, if they want to rate you by those things, this is kind of that additional context. Again, the reviewer can skip these if they want to. The other one is the business trip, vacation, family, things like that. So again, great context for what this trip was about, what they liked about it. So if you know that you're typically a business hotel and families stay there and they give you a poor rating, there's some changes you can make. There's some decisions you can just, make on what kind of hotel you want to be, if you need to further your offerings for family, or if just maybe limit your marketing towards families. Those types of things can be gleaned from these details. Now on the restaurant side, what you're seeing here are things like dine-in, takeout, delivery, which we know has really changed a lot in the last couple of years. What meal did you get? A restaurant might want to know, is their breakfast outperforming their lunch versus dinner, those types of things. Spend level, of course. And then there are additional yes and no items, such as like outdoor seating. So we're seeing this in the restaurant space as well, some different details. And again, this is only appearing on Google Maps at the moment. So how does this come into GatherUp and where do you see this? This is right now living in our customer activity screen. So you can see on the bottom here, this is the layout. It's similar to our Google attributes, the positive critical attributes. Those were brought in, a year or two ago as well. So it's, just expanding that essentially. You can see on the top there in the filtering option that it's right below the Google attributes positive critical. Now we have one for hotels. Now we have one for restaurants. So if you want to filter those out and just look at those details, you certainly can within customer activity. All right, so a little bit smaller change, I would say, but pretty important. Something that's come up a lot with our customers is an update to how you are portrayed in your NPS question or your Net Promoter Score question. So the Net Promoter Score question of how likely is it that you'd recommend us to a friend or colleague? A lot of businesses will say, how likely is it that you'd recommend us or our company or our firm? But in some cases, you want to have more options, more flexibility within that question. So what we did here is we allow you to, select from the dropdown, and if something doesn't fit or you want to go beyond that, you can enter your own. So in my case here, I put how likely is it that you'd recommend this location to a friend or colleague. But I also see use cases around a team member's name. For instance, if you're a sales organization and you want to know how Joe did, right? You can say, how likely is it you'd recommend Joe? Or if you're, have rental units, you might say, this 3-bedroom unit versus just the company itself. So really, there's a lot of options, limitless use cases for this. But we think this is a great win for our partners who are utilizing the Net Promoter Score question, because it can personalize it a little bit more and gives you some more tools, more options. All right, so one more beta, and this is a big one. This is a custom reporting. So, when you look at GatherUp's reporting, we have a pretty robust set of reports there, but we do see and hear often, can I get it this way? Can I see something in a little bit different fashion? And so what we're doing here is exploring what this looks like. And we, again, want to get your feedback and hear from you on what this, how this could most benefit your business or your agency. So right now it's a live public beta. You can participate. A couple of things here, like I said, you can build your own reports, create your own visuals. But really, what we hear is I'm exporting this and I'm turning it into a PowerPoint, or I'm creating my own charts based on other data. And what we really want to do here is help you not have to do that, right? So like, hopefully the idea is, you can take the custom reporting tool and create what you need. out of that. So a couple key things that we've heard so far on this and how we think it might help you is the notification piece. So think of this as not that you got a new review, but that your review rating has slipped down from 4.3 to 4.2. You could set a notification that has occurred, and then your team would know, okay, maybe something's gone on, maybe something's happened, or your review count drops below a certain threshold. So it gives you a little bit of safeguarding in that regard. Custom widgets. So again, like I mentioned earlier, you can create your own. In this example, I've actually used competitor data. So if I'm a pizza shop and I want to compare Pizza Planet's Google rating or Google reviews to mine, I can pull theirs in, and then I can kind of compare those two. So you can look at specific competitor data. You also have multiple dashboards with customer reporting. And the way that this could be used could be, say, like store managers get one report, your marketing team might get a different report. So you can create different dashboards and tailor them to the audience's needs. Again, maybe even one for stakeholders. The last benefit that we really see here is the shareable link. So this is a public link that you can send out to team members, but it doesn't give them access to GatherUp. That's another thing we hear, like somebody wants to see this, but they don't need access to GatherUp. We don't want them to get in the tool. And so this is a great way to do that. And so the custom reporting should help for those businesses that have that need as well. Here's an example, just a dashboard that I pulled together. Again, you can customize these. You can pull in the metrics that matter. You can add, remove this. Really easy interface to work with. The one thing I'll say again is if you do get in and test this out on the beta, there's a button in the upper right to provide feedback, and we'd love to get your feedback that way. Of course, we can get it through support as well if you email support, but really that provide feedback would be great. If you get in and play around, we'd love to get your thoughts. In this one, you'd want to put subject line beta tester for custom reporting. Same thing, support@gatherup.com. So. All right, so I see somebody had a question on integration. So great segue, Claudia, appreciate it. You're ahead of us, that's great. So we want to talk about this briefly. It is something we're continuing to improve, but we also want to make sure that everybody is aware of these integrations. And when we talk about integrations in this regard, it's about adding customers into GatherUp so that you can send out those requests. Right now, a lot of people are manually adding them or bulk uploading a spreadsheet, and that's great, that works, but there could be some automation there as well, where you don't have to go in weekly, daily, you don't have to have your team add customers. So these right here that you see, including Salesforce, these are self-serve. So these live within the platform. On the left-hand nav bar, you'll see an integrations tab, and you click that, select the integration you want to connect with, and then just follow the steps. And of course, we can help you if you need assistance with that. But these are really self-serve integrations. Right now, Salesforce, QuickBooks, HubSpot, MailChimp, and Constant Contact are in here. And these are easy ways, again, to get those customers from your Salesforce into GatherUp and send that request automatically. Now, if you are looking outside of that, we have a few options. We have some custom integrations that we already have connected. For instance, we're a preferred partner with Toast and with Athena Health. We're on their marketplace. We also connect with Olo, Lunchbox, Lightspeed, Dr. Chrono, and Vend POS. So different CRMs, point of sale systems. And I think a lot of you probably are using Zapier as well. So that's still a very popular way to connect systems, but we do have those built-in ones, and we have these custom integrations that are a great way to just automate a lot of those tedious tasks.
Hey, Steve, before you go on, we have a question from Tom about the custom reporting. He's asking if they can send automated white labeled email reporting.
That is in the works. I don't know if it's available in the beta at the moment, but I know that is definitely going to be part of that, right? Like being able to white label that report, put a custom logo in for your clients. So.
And Tom, just so you know, and anybody else listening on this, please get into our beta test because it's exactly those types of suggestions we're looking for. That helps us go to the next level with this. So please get into that beta test. Give us all those suggestions. Be nitpicky because it's going to lead us to where we really want this to go.
Yes, thanks, Chris. Exactly. We want you to help shape that product, right? Like that piece of that feature. So any feedback, any ideas, whatever, we're looking for that product market fit. And if you guys can help steer that and drive that, that'd be great. Okay, just a couple of quick hitters to end here. I want to leave a few minutes just in case there are some additional questions. On the resource side, make sure you go to the blog. We update any of the product features, updates that need to be out there. So you can see there's one on the hotel restaurant details. There's one on Instagram. But a great resource, lots of information in our blog for different ideas, tips and tricks, things like that. And then the changelog. So the changelog has any new feature update, any addition, things like that. So if you're curious on what we've been doing, there's a full list there at the changelog.gatherup.com that you can check out at your leisure. And just a couple things, and then we're out of here, actually a little early. The next webinar we're going to invite you to is we're going to talk about the FTC's guidelines on review management. If you've been following this at all, they put a little more emphasis into reviews in the last year or so. They promised it was coming, and it's here. So we want to just make sure everyone's on the up and up on expectations. Make sure you're compliant, and look at how GatherUp is addressing this as well. And so it'll be the return of Mike Blumenthal to the GatherUp webinar. With some special guests, we think. So you're not going to want to miss that one. It's going to be pretty important, I think, just to more so even just to give peace of mind that what GatherUp is doing and how we help you is in compliance. It is, a solution that, we've always prided ourselves on transparency and doing this the right way. As you likely know, we've talked about making sure you ask all your customers, not just happy ones, like get a true sense of that customer experience and that customer feedback. And so, for the most part, everything's really strong with how we fit into the guidelines. We just want to make sure that all businesses are aware of what's going on, because they're, really the ones that are using the product, and make sure that everybody's on the same page. And then the last thing I wanted to call out was that GatherUp will be at the International Franchise Association Convention, February 27th and 28th on the exhibit hall. We will be booth number 1542. So if you happen to be there, love for you to stop by and chat. And we can, I think we'll have some new features up by then even to talk about and show you. And we can certainly talk about anything else related to reputation, reviews, local, and things like that. So with that, final questions, any thoughts? Anybody wants to put anything in the chat? Happy to answer that here in the next couple minutes. Like I said, this will go on our website. We'll share that out on our social channels as well, but it'll go on our blog with a little recap in the video and things like that. So if any questions, we'll sit here for a minute or so, and then if not, we hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And thanks again for joining us on the GatherUp webinar. All right. Doesn't look like much for questions. So thanks again, everybody. Appreciate you joining us. Watch out for our invite for the next webinar coming up at the end of February. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Oh, we got one question right at the last minute, Glenn. How to automate the reviews. Are you asking about the Glenn, are you asking about the sending out of the requests, or are you asking about the integration with like a Salesforce? Not quite sure. Yes, Paige, we will send out the recording to the list of attendees, and then we will also post on the website. Okay, Glenn, is there a way to auto post the reviews to social? So that was the automatic social sharing tool that we talked about. That's in a beta currently. So if you get in the platform and are interested in that, yeah, let's go back to that and see if I can. All right, so here is the pop-up that happens when you click the create automation. Well, that's not the right screen. So in here, you're actually going to go to start. You're going to go into your nav bar on the left-hand side under publish, and it'll be social sharing. So under social sharing on the left-hand nav bar is where you should find that. And then it's not active probably because it's in a beta. So you'll have to ask for that. But if you reach out support@gatherup.com, they'll get you access to it because it's a beta. It's not live for everybody. Sorry about that confusion. And yep, Paige, the recording will be sent out. So Glenn, we'll probably have your email on the registration anyway, so we'll add you to that and get you going and make sure you're set up. But just in case, make sure to reach out to support. Very good. All right, I think that's it. So again, thanks for joining us today. Everybody have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.